At one point, we were completely living together. Him and his mother moved into my house with me and my mother. And
What? They moved into the house with you and your mother, and you all were having sex and both mothers knew it?
Yes.
I've never heard of such.
Several times a day.
What in the world?
Now you have to understand something. There are good parents, and there are the absolute worst parents. In this case, Ms. Phillips believed that the defendant's deceased son was the father of her child. After the death of her lover, baby daddy's mom changed her story and said, there's no way the child could belong to her son. She started her story like this.
Ms. Phillips, you claim that you are certain the defendant's deceased son, Philip Daniels, is the father of your 3-month-old daughter, a miracle phenomenal Daniels. You say it wasn't until after his tragic passing that Ms. Williamson began to deny her grandchild.
My daughter needs the death benefits of her father, and she
Well,
needs the
death
help.
benefits. There's no death benefits. He didn't have a job.
Definitely looks like these two have never bonded over anything. Before they could get to the part where they wanted to rip each other apart, the judge asked Ms. Williamson why she felt her deceased son could not be the father of baby mama's child. Her reply was nothing but out of this world. Trust me.
Why don't you believe Ms. Phillips' daughter is your son's biological child?
Because he said it. He called,
When?
she brought another guy to my house. He answered the phone plenty of times where there was another young man on the phone talking to him.
He was doing the cheating.
Oh, it wasn't committed.
He
then.
was
Wasn't
he
no
was
commitment.
going he
Wasn't no
was going back
commitment.
and
No
forth
commitment.
from
All right, so what did he tell you about the relationship?
I mean, she was at my house a couple times. She was there or whatever, but he dipped and he dabbed.
From that revelation, there was a lot of cheating between baby mama and baby daddy. But could baby mama be lying about him being the father? Who knows? Ms. Williamson was ready to fight tooth and nail in trying to defend her deceased son. She even remembered an instance where her son told her that the baby could be for another man.
And she was like, ain't no guy called my phone. That wasn't no guy, so he went back to the number. She was like, well, I talk to him every now and then.
That man was about 40-some years old. What I'm gonna do with
That
him?
was another lie.
40 years old, you can still
That
make a
boy
baby at
doesn't
40 years old?
Not with him.
Beat Neva home
Not
back.
with him, I wasn't. Not at all, you're right. That man was like this tall. What I'm gonna do with a
Short men make babies too.
What I'm gonna do with him this tall?
Moving on, the judge went on to ask Ms. Williamson if her son was excited when he found out that baby mama was pregnant. As you'd expect, she said hell no. But baby mama rushed to defend herself and said he was more than happy when he found out that she was pregnant with his baby.
And you showed me that's how I found out because you
And
showed
I
me the
took it
pregnancy
outside
test.
to him and told him that I was
But I
pregnant.
told
And
you
what
you
was his
pregnant.
He
reaction?
was happy.
Did the test tell you or did I tell you that you was pregnant?
He was happy.
You so hilarious.
So, Ms.
You are
Williamson,
too.
so Ms. Williamson, you say his response is she's claiming she's pregnant by me.
Right, 'cause
That's a
at first he
whole,
didn't
hold
believe
on.
that she
That's
was
a whole,
pregnant.
first he didn't even believe she was pregnant.
No.
When?
What does he say to you?
He told you that he don't believe that it's his child.
Did Ms. Williamson just say baby mama told her son she was intimate with another man? Wow. But hold on. The plot twist in the story is about to set in. As I said, Ms. Williamson was ready to fight to the end of the world to make sure the baby didn't end up belonging to her son. She brought in an exhibit, and here's what it showed.
You never put this up that he wasn't the daddy.
What is that, Ms. Williamson?
wasn't-
Now let me
You-
tell you
Miss
about
Williamson.
this. Let me
not
tell
true.
you.
Miss Williamson, what is that?
A fake page that they made
Oh,
when
you
I
don't
was
say
first
I made this
pregnant.
page.
Jerome, hand me that paper,
I made this page for real.
please.
You believe in
Who-
your heart that I made this page?
If you're one of y'all made,
Miss
and I
Williamson.
believe-
Girl, you-
So wait, this is a post from Rissa Phillip.
Do I smell another plot twist coming into the mix? Baby mama sure seems to be throwing some heavy accusations, claiming it was Ms. Williamson who sent the Facebook message. Their back and forth was getting out of hand, and Judge Lowen had to speak some sense into their heads.
That's petty and that's silly because it has nothing to do with a miracle. Nothing. Because she's already here. It has nothing to do with it. And we're already at a point where we have a tragedy.
She here
This
for
young
some
man
money that
lost
she's not
his
gonna
life.
get.
Your son has lost his life. If this baby is his, if it is, so now you don't care.
She never did.
Never did. Say it again.
She
One more
never
time.
did.
At least one thing is for sure, they don't like each other at all. Now, baby mama claimed when she gave birth to the baby, the brother of her deceased lover looked the baby in the eye and said the baby looked exactly like the baby daddy. But when he was called up to the stand, he changed his story. Here's what he had to say.
And she says you looked at the baby and you said this is my brother's child. Is that in fact true?
No, Your Honor. I don't know if that's my brother's baby, but that's why we're here now to get the answers, because looks is deceiving.
And so at that time, you didn't make a decision as to this is my brother's child or not.
No, because my brother brother had his own doubts in his head because of the things that he told me and the things that was sent to him, Your Honor.
What was sent to him?
The revelations just keep coming and coming. Right now it was looking like a war between baby mama and the family of her deceased lover. But baby daddy's brother made one thing clear, and that was the fact that if the baby really belonged to his brother, he would step up and be in the child's life. Was Ms. Williamson going to allow that?
If it is his baby, you know, I'm going to be in the baby's life for sure, you know, if Rissa gives me the opportunity to.
All right. What are your hopes, Miss Phillip?
It ain't no hope. I know it's his baby. It's no hope. I was with this man every day. Like, you can look. He spit her out.
What?
He spit her out.
Like, you some maneric. Look. You look
The
like
nose.
eye, man. My eye might be
The
messed up just a
eyes.
little bit. Something.
Well, that definitely answers the question of Ms. Williamson wanting to be in the baby's life, bringing all that drama to a close. The results are in, and the judge is ready to reveal who the child's father is. Here we go.
The percentage of relatedness between A Miracle, Phenomenal, Daniels, and Toya Williamson is 99.8%.
I know exactly who my baby daddy is.
I don't care. I'm not in that baby life.
This was another battle between baby mama and baby daddy's mother. Ms. Whitaker dragged the defendant to court to prove that he was the father of her child. She claimed the only reason the defendant has doubts about her baby is because of his manipulative mother, who wouldn't stay out of their business. She opened her case like this.
Ms. Whitaker, you've summoned Mr. Schroll to court to prove that he is the father of your 2-year-old daughter, Brinley.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say that Mr. Schroll has doubt only because of his conniving and manipulative mother, and you want him to man up and take care of his responsibilities.
Because he's a mama's boy. She has never done anything but come in between our relationship. Even when we were having fights in our relationship, she was always in the middle of it. It was never just me and him, it was me, him, and his mother.
Well, you heard the defendant. All right. He doesn't joke about his mama one bit. As baby mama could recall, their relationship started as a very beautiful one. It was almost like they had been waiting all their lives to be together, at least she claimed. But her story had a few loopholes.
We fell in love from the beginning. We were never separated. We probably spent 3 days apart in the entire almost 3 years we were together. From the time we started dating, our parents let us spend the night together. We were either staying at my house.
Wait, they what?
Yes. They let us stay the
When
night
you
together.
started dating, your parents let you spend the night together
Yes.
at each other's homes?
Yes. At one point, we were completely living together.
Talk about bad parenting. This has to be the absolute worst. Letting teenagers be sexually active at a young age? Ew! Moving on, baby mama's story wasn't sounding like the truth. First, she said they were all living together like a happy family. Now, she says, his mother is getting in the way of their relationship. Which one is it?
She was always in the middle of our relationship. She even made the comment one time that I can't wait till you're 18 because I'm gonna beat you. And then when she found out I was pregnant, she said, I guess I can't do it anymore now.
Mr. Schroll, did you know your mother didn't care for Ms. Whitaker?
She cared for her. I don't know where that she didn't care for her comes from, because anytime Miss Whitaker needed to talk to her, she'd come to my mom. She'd call her mama.
So, baby daddy had plans to get married to Ms. Whitaker. They must have really been in love. The big question now is, if they were so in love with each other and had plans of wanting to get married, how did they find themselves in this messy situation? Well, here's the story behind that.
So let's get to the real details.
What happened? What had happened? Her mom had passed away.
Okay.
And she got put in a foster home, and once she turned
Okay.
18, she went with family.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ms. Whitaker.
Thank
Very
you.
sorry.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And so at that time, you all were separated. You were no longer living together.
I was fed up with it. I was getting constant accusations of cheating, and I never once cheated on her.
Oh, so there was a cheating scandal. Well, that cat is out of the box, and now we know why they didn't get married. But baby mama claimed that wasn't really how the whole thing played out, and there was more to the story.
I found out I was pregnant exactly 1 month after my mother had passed away.
Okay.
I was already in DHR custody when I found out I was pregnant.
All right. So you are dealing with all of that. Then you find out you're pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
You let him know.
Yes, I
At
let
the
him-
time you let him know, how did you let him know? Phone call? You saw each other?
My social worker put me in a room and let me call him and tell him I was pregnant. And he was actually very excited.
Baby daddy's mother said that? Now that's wild. Judge Lauren wasn't going to hear something like that and just act ignorant of it. She asked baby daddy's mother to step into the podium and give her side of the story. Well, here's how that little journey went.
Staying together and sleeping together was never okay with me. This started at her house, and I begged her mother, please don't let this happen. It's not happening at my house. Y'all are too young for this kind of relationship. Her mother couldn't do anything with her.
please don't bring my mother into this because she's dead and she can't defend herself, and I would very much appreciate it if you kept her out of it.
She cheated 7 different times? At this point, I honestly don't know who to believe. Regardless of the accusations, Ms. Whitaker stood her ground and claimed that they were trying to paint her as a bad person. She admitted to cheating but claimed it happened in a totally different way.
Well,
And
tell
you said,
me,
"I don't
tell
care."
me what happened. Tell the court.
It wasn't something I was proud of, and he's not even a possible factor for the father. I have my conception date right here.
I'd like to see that evidence. Will you hand it to me, please?
I conceived at the beginning
Thank
of
you.
August. I did not sleep with him until the end of August.
So let me understand this. You've prepared a calendar for the court.
Yes, ma'am. I slept with Christian every single night, sometimes 2 or 3 times a day.
I don't remember all.
Wow.
You really can't blame Ms. Whitaker for getting furious. She's fighting both baby daddy and his mother. That can't be easy. Baby daddy also claimed that 4 months into her pregnancy, aside from finding out she cheated, he also found out that there was more than one possible father to the child.
It came out to me after she was pregnant. It came out that there are more than one possibility.
When did this come out?
This came out when she was maybe 3-4 months pregnant.
How did it come out?
She
Who told
told
you
me.
that?
She told her.
And that's a load of crap.
Y'all just having sex. Y'all know what you're doing.
Exactly.
You have no clue. Just kids engaging in adult activity, absolutely no idea of the consequences.
Now, trust me, you guys aren't ready for what you're about to hear next. Baby daddy's name isn't signed on the baby's birth certificate. Why? Because baby mama had her new boyfriend at the time sign the birth certificate without baby daddy knowing about it.
We had separated. I had started dating someone else.
Are you on the birth certificate?
No, ma'am.
No, I go there. He cuts the umbilical cord. He's on
He
the
didn't
birth
even cut the
certificate.
umbilical cord.
The boyfriend's name's on the birth certificate?
Yes, Your Honor. I have her birth certificate right here.
So hold on. This is a birth certificate, certificate of live birth, Brinley Ann Smith, and father's name is Nicholas Dwayne Smith.
One thing is for sure. These guys aren't ready to come to a resolution, as their back and forth dispute was not helping, and the plaintiff's crazy acting was sparking more turmoil in this conflict. The only way to know about the truth was to reveal whatever DNA envelope was hiding.
Mr. Schroll, you are her father.
I am.
Oh, God. Thank you.
Then I apologize. I apologize for everything. I really do. I'm sorry I put you through this.
I'm just so happy after 2 years, you finally know you can finally start being there.
And I will be.
Give her a hug.
Would you be willing to give me a hug?
Can I give you a hug?
Sometimes you can only imagine what goes through the minds of some parents to make them make certain decisions. Mr. Harrison was suing the defendant for paternity fraud because he claimed he signed the birth certificate for their child under false pretenses. He also believed the defendant was never faithful throughout their relationship. He opened his case like this.
Mr. Harrison, you are suing the defendant, Ms. Grant, for paternity fraud. You've also petitioned the court to remove your name from the acknowledgement of paternity document for 4-year-old Aaliyah Harrison because you claim you signed it under false pretenses.
Well, Your Honor, I signed my acknowledgement for paternity for my daughter, and I've done everything for her since the day she's been born.
He couldn't hide his anger at all. He claimed that the man she had an affair with was a friend she had known for over 15 years. Mr. Harrison and baby mama had been together for 8 years, and throughout that period, she was intimate with the other man.
She had this affair with this person for 15 years. I've only been with her for 8. So this goes way before we were ever even together in the first place. So after 8 years with her and a previous child before the one in question, we've already had a child together. So she's been cheating on me literally the entire 8-year span that we were together, including the time of our first child.
So, baby daddy was actually right about the affair going on for a long time. As she could recall, she had known the other man since she was 18 years old. She claimed he helped her with little things like taking care of her first child and sorting out the bills. And on some days, they would kick it in bed, even while she was in a relationship with Mr. Harrison.
This person was a friend of mine. I had met this person when I was 18 years old. I was a single parent of a 2-year-old daughter at the time. He helped me with her. He helped me financially. He has bought cars. He has paid rent. He has paid bills, okay? When I met Mr. Harrison and I told my friend, I'm in love and we're gonna have a baby. And he wished me the best. He said, I'm gonna bow out gracefully. I know you'd like to get married. And you know, that wasn't his intention for me.
Baby mama sure knows how to keep a secret, all right? I mean, how do you have a sexual relationship with a friend for 15 years and still maintain a romantic relationship with your boyfriend for 8 years? That takes some real nerve. But in her defense, she claimed she was sleeping with the other guy when she conceived her baby.
But I didn't lie lie about the paternity. I lied about whether or not I was seeing somebody, but like I said, the person wasn't even in our area at the time.
So you're saying you were not sleeping with this person?
Not at that time, no.
During the time Aaliyah was conceived?
But how am I supposed to ever believe that after an entire 8-year relationship? Aaliyah's only 4 now. You see what I'm saying? That's a long time to supposedly not just be,
that's a long time.
with.
There you have it. Baby mama has some serious nerve to say something like that after cheating throughout the relationship. Well, guess what? Baby daddy wasn't a saint either. He also stepped out of the relationship and kicked it in bed with another woman. But all that didn't matter to him. He was just tired of baby mama's lies.
I tried, and it wasn't. I love her, and I love my kids so much, that I was willing to bend over backwards and forgive her for all of her misdeeds, all of them.
What about all your misdeeds?
Every single
Don't sit
one
there
of
and
them.
act like you haven't cheated on me.
I'm not saying that.
He cheated on me with someone who is, he's an indie pro wrestler. He cheated on me with someone who they call ring rats. They call them ring rats for a reason, Your Honor.
Okay, the relationship is definitely torn.
Yes.
In turmoil.
Even though she had been cheating all this while with the other man, she believed deep in her heart that Mr. Harrison was the father of her child. They dive into the argument of the window of conception, and it turns into an all-out war. Here's how it played out.
So, what day was Aaliyah born?
Her birthday is September 15th of 2010.
September 15th, 2010. If her birthday's September 15th, the dates of conception would be somewhere between December 19th to December 27th.
Yes, ma'am. Her birthday is September 15th.
You say this is a blizzard. This is how you know it could not be the other man's child, is because this man doesn't like the
He
cold.
took off.
Well, that didn't end nicely. After all the yelling, baby mama changed her story and started to say that all she wanted to do was try to fix her relationship with Mr. Harrison. She admits that what she did was wrong, but she loves Mr. Harrison and hopes they can make it work. Is that even possible after cheating for 8 years?
I have people right now telling me that I ought to be ashamed of myself for even being here to prove to this man who I am in love with at this very moment, even though he is accusing me of not knowing who the father of my child is, that I ought to be ashamed of myself for wanting to come in front of you and prove to him and the rest of the world that yes, I've done wrong, but I'm willing to admit that and I'm willing to right those wrongs for my children.
I, for one, don't think they can find their way back after all the lies, but who am I to judge? Anyway, there's no need to try to delay the inevitable. The results are sitting pretty with the judge, and it's time to unveil who the father of the child is.
Mr. Harrison, you are her father.
I told you.
I'm happy.
Good. Good.
This was completely traumatizing. These two brothers came to court because they had some real doubts that their uncle might actually be their father. Trust me, guys. It's a really crazy roller coaster. I hope your seats are locked in.
You've always believed the man in this photograph is your father.
Yes, Your Honor.
Then, just recently, you learned that your biological father may actually be your father's brother.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mrs. Shivers, you confessed that you slept with both your ex-husband and his brother.
Now, Ms. Shivers, who happened to be their mother, was one hell of a mischievous woman. She had a husband who she was intimate with, of course, then went on to sleep with his brother. Who in the world does that?
You know I'm your son. You know you my son, right? So
Yeah, it was basically like a family get-together. It was a family function. You know how people get when they, indulge or whatnot. I guess he overindulged and the truth came to light, So he approached my brother.
It's not the truth.
Well,
believe whatever you want to believe.
okay, we're leaving the door open. Believe what you want to
open
believe.
it up.
Assume what you want to assume.
Yeah.
He assumes Ronnie's his dad.
Now, the crazy thing was that Ms. Shivers did admit to being intimate with the two brothers. She was blaming it on the fact that she was lonely and had nowhere to go. Yeah, right. Like that makes any sense at all. I'm pretty speechless right now.
Nowhere to lay my head, and we grew up together. We're best friends. I did what I had to do to keep a roof over the head for this one, for Eugene.
You know what? My mom did everything in her power and her will and everything to take care of us. I'm not here to crucify my mom or nothing like that, or, it ain't nothing like that. We just want to know what's going on. My brother feels a certain way about something.
Now, one of the brothers did admit that he noticed some really funny actions from his dad before he passed. I promise you guys, your ears aren't ready for what you are about to hear. These guys had one messed up family.
Unfortunately, we had to take a trip down the road, and my father, he wrote me more than he did my brother, you know what I'm saying? And you don't do that if that's your child, You know, you supposed to be there through thick and thin like my mom, you know. I heard from her every day of, you know, that place or that situation. But when we were in that situation, he didn't reach out to my brother at all, not really like at all. So I understand.
And Ronnie's always been there, right?
Yeah, and Ronnie's always been
there
the
no
one.
matter what.
Now, the craziest thing happens in the court, and it will leave you speechless. One of the brothers believes that his dad isn't his uncle. But here's where the shock comes in. His mom says, hold up, you might be wrong. There might be another man who is your father. Well, I told you, these guys have a really messed up family.
Credible doubts as it relates to Eugene as well?
Yes, Your Honor, maybe so.
What?
Well, you want to hear it, that's I'm going to tell you.
You ain't never said that before?
Well,
and I asked you who's my dad?
John Ellis.
You said John Ellis. So now it's a possibility somebody else might be my dad.
Well, you got tested, son. We're going to bring it out. We'll bring it all out. I'm telling the truth, so let's bring it on out. Whatever my babies want to know, I'll let you know.
I didn't know that.
Now let's get Uncle Dad into the courtroom. Mr. McClellan walks into the courtroom to give his side of the story. Well, guess what? He actually believes he is the father. Ain't no mind games here, people. It's starting to really look insane. Ms. Shivers had some explaining to do.
We only had sex once. She must have meant we only had sex once sober. You hear me? That's what she must have meant, you know? Because she can't even remember the first time, you know?
But you remember.
Oh, boy. Really?
No more details needed.
Okay.
The period window of conception, it was during the time you were in Chicago with Mr. McClellan.
Yes.
Right.
Another truth bomb hits the air in the courtroom. Ms. Shivers had to be one crazy woman, trust me. She says that aside from the two brothers she got intimate with, there was a possibility that another man was in the picture. Oh my God.
I met him when I was waitressing in the restaurant, and he ran a big hotel, and he also, you know, gave me jobs and stuff. That's when Eugene was like about 4 or 5. We had a couple of little nights, you know, where we had a few drinks and we did have intimacy. He died, you know, it might be a possibility because when I was staying at Mama Mildred's with Ronnie and everybody.
About time we draw the curtain on this paternity showdown. Will it be a double dose of daddy drama, or will the clouds of uncertainty finally clear? The key to the truth was in the envelope. Here goes nothing.
Pertaining to whether John Ellis is your biological father, John Ellis is your father.
I knew that.
In the case of Arthur Ellis v. Shivers McClellan, pertaining to whether John Ellis or his brother Ronald McClellan is your biological father, John Ellis is your father.